As a trader, one of the hardest things to do is just not to trade, sitting on our hands until we see the A+ setup that we are waiting for. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com here with a daily market recap. So without any further ado, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, and let's see the charts. SPY daily time frame, short term, downtrend, mid term, uptrend, long term, downtrend. It all depends on what are you trading and the time frame that you are trading. Now we have 396 as a very important area of support. Why? Because we have a crossroads between two major trend lines. We have this trend line, we have the red trend line that holds the higher lows, and we have the 50 retracement and the 618 Fibonacci retracement. So all this area, the 390, 396, is a very important level of support. Bulls must step in and hold this area. Failing to hold this area, we will go and see 374 retesting this low once again as support, but no one knows what will happen next. All we have to do is follow price, look left, identify where price came from and where it might be headed next. Bouncing above the 401, we can get a bounce and we will have a new higher low. Breaking below this area, and we will have continuation to the downside on the short term downtrend. QQQ, same thing. We have the yellow trend line, goes all the way back. December 2021, held as a very strong resistance for the higher lows, for the lower highs, sorry. I always confuse. Bear with me, thank you. Now we have this low over here. Now let's see if this will establish as a new higher low. We have this trend line needs to hold. Failing to hold, 282, 274, and maybe even back to 260. Once again, no one knows what will happen next. All we can see is where price came from, and following price using levels and trend lines to manage our risk. That's it. We have also this trend line over here. This trend line, short term trend line, holding the lower lows of this short term downtrend. Dojis, 4 consecutive dojis, which means market is in an indecision state. So if market cannot decide, we surely cannot decide if to go long or short. All we have to do is wait. Long above this 298, short continuation below 293. Everything you see in here on this video and on other videos on my channel are for educational purposes only. Always you do your own due diligence. Never follow blindly anyone on social media, paid or free services. Follow, educate, learn as much as you can. But in the end of the day, it's only up to you. No one will take care of your money except you. Risk management. If you want to take your trading journey to the next level and become your own indicator, you are more than welcome to check Fibonacci Traders one-on-one live mentorship program, lifetime access for all Discord channels with lifetime support. As long as you need it, Fibonacci Traders will be here for you. Dow Jones, multi-top, 243. Now we have 3 26 needs to hold. Bulls must hold this line. Failing to hold this line, we will see a very steep downtrend, and we have all these levels for future potential support. If we had this steep uptrend, now we have all this area bouncing up and down. We will have the same steep uptrend, but to the downside. IWM once again broke below this trend line, so this trend line for now is irrelevant. Clean the chart, clear the noise. Now what do we see? Trend line, trend line. That's it. No other indicators are really needed. What do we see? Short term, downtrend. Mid term, uptrend. Dojis, indecision. We need to wait. Breaking above, long. Continuation to the downside. We can continue going short. VIX basically bouncing between the 2040 and the 2280. Look left. This area between the 2040 and the 2280, 2290 was a very strong area, which price bounced up and down inside this area for almost 2 months, since November until end of January, mid of January. So we might get same price action now into the future. Dollar index broke above this trend line. Now 104, which was a very tough resistance. Also here it was a resistance. Now it's holding as support for the past 3 sessions. Breaking down and under. This is what bulls need to do. Dollar index needs to break down and under. Bears want this dollar index going to the upside and maybe all the way to this white trend line. SMH basically doing nothing. Broke below the 241 area. This 241 area was resistance, support. Now once again resistance. As you can see, in the past few sessions, nothing really special on this one. No open gaps. We have this one here at the 227. So this area needs to hold as support. Look left. Why we have all these dojis? Because this area between the 231 and the 241, look at the price action here. Now look at the price action over here. Always look left to see why price is moving the way it is. Bitcoin daily, orange trend line is holding support here, support over here. Now needs to hold the support, otherwise where will it go? To the downside, to this yellow trend line. Ethereum moving sideways, continuation sideways move. We have the 1560 area needs to hold. 1560 area needs to hold as support, otherwise we have all these levels to the downside, and we have some kind of a double top scenario, multi-top scenario with this belly breaking below 1460. We will see the same thing like it did here, but to the downside. 1660 needs to break to the upside. Bulls needs to close at least 1 week or 2 weeks above this area, and then we might get the upside as we all want. And then we have all the levels to the upside for future resistance. Natural gas, very nice bounce from the 210 all the way to to 75. This area, look at here. Now it might do the same price action over here. Going back down, we have the levels to manage risk. Going back up, we have levels to manage risk. AAPL, 4 consecutive dojis. This gap over here is filled. Not surprising, more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. The sooner the better. Now, 148 is a very important level of support. It needs to hold. Otherwise, 142 to the downside and maybe going back, retesting this trend line as support, because this trend line, look left, was a very strong resistance. So maybe it will act as support to the future. But for now, we are here, 148, dojis, indecision in the market. So we sit on our hands and wait for market to decide. Decide what? Up or down? Going up, 150, above 150, we can go long. Below 146, 145, we can go short. But once again, always do your own due diligence. Swing low, swing high. I can take this one, doesn't really matter. All it needs to do is give us an area of support and resistance. And you see, 148, this one here, 151, 152 to the upside, 146 to the downside. Tesla going up and down, but basically moving sideways, bouncing from the 187 to 14, up and down. If you're not long yet, or you're waiting to increase your size position on Tesla, I would wait above 214. If you're a Tesla short, Tesla bear, wait below 187. NVDA, you know these trend lines. Trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. Now, my problem with NVIDIA is this big post earnings gap. Very big gap, and we know most likely this gap will get filled. 80% chance. So if you're long on NVIDIA, manage your risk according, because if price will get into this gap, into this void, gaps like to suck in price action. Look at Meta. We have this gap, post earnings gap, since beginning of February, and price slowly getting sucked in until this gap will get filled, unless bulls will find some supernatural powers to get up and above this area. Until then, bears are pulling Meta to the downside to close this gap. Netflix, you know these trend lines. Yellow trend line for now is holding as support because it was a very important support. If you look left from July 2022, now trying to hold. This gap over here is filled. We have no other open gaps to the upside on Netflix. Let's zoom in. Yep, we have this gap over here and a slight gap over here. So we know more than 80% chance these gaps will get filled. Let's see. For now, I'm waiting on Netflix for validation for a bounce. I will wait for this gap to get filled and then price continues to the upside, then we will take long. Use levels and trend lines to manage your risk. If this will confirm and validate as a new higher low, then we can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, and now we have all the levels to the upside. But we wait. Microsoft, very nasty price action on Microsoft. Nothing much for me on this one. Swing low, swing high. 618 is holding as support. 50 holding as resistance. For me, I would like to see this area validates as a new higher low. Confirmation, for me at least, above 258. Shopify. This trend line broke. Not relevant. So we cleared the chart. Now we have this uptrend, retracement to where? Close this gap over here, and 618 is holding. 2 dojis on this 618. Let's see bounce and validation. Trend reversal to the upside. We have this gap over here. I would wait for a day or two. Close above 42, 30, 43 even. Let's see. Follow price. Use levels to manage risk. That's it. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is it. Following price and using levels to manage risk and trend lines to identify the trend. It's not rocket science. Google, for now we have this trend line holding as support the higher lows on a bigger time frame from November low. Here we have this low over here, December, January, and now let's see if we can validate a new higher low on Google. For me, I would wait for a break up and above 92 area, because if we look left, this area, we had this gap over here, and since then it was a very important level of resistance. So for me, Google long above 92. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, share with friends. Let me know in the comments below what do you want me to add to these videos, what do you don't like. And don't forget, Fibonacci Traders Academy, 22 videos, 20 minutes or less each video, on how to improve a little bit each and every day our trading journey, technical side, mental side. Until the next video, stay safe.